Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Double upload today, for sure today. Apologies for yesterday because I was planning on getting that Chelsea news video out and I ended up with a nice little cold, which was fantastic last night. But I was like, oh my god, I sound terrible. I'm not going to go on and do a video, not at this time. So I looked after myself. I'm better today. Still there, but I'm better today. However, the news has been changing. I was meant to give you Chelsea news yesterday and there were a few things in relation to the directors and what we're doing about that. And a new club. Chelsea are looking to try and buy a Portuguese team, you know, that are sitting fourth in the Portuguese league, and we're trying to expand our network, and much like some of the other clubs that we're going to be talking about in this video as well. But today there's the whole news about Nkunku, and apparently we've done part of a medical already, even though he's not signed for us. But that's as a preemptive move for 2023. But now we're hearing that it's not true. It's a mess. Chelsea Football Club right now is a mess. I will be talking about Chelsea more in the video later on. Today, for this one, video number one, we are going to be talking about the Premier League and the preview into two massive games, as well as a little overview of some of the other games. But we've got the North London Derby and the Manchester Derby. Before we get into it, I'm going to let you know this video is brought to you and sponsored by the OneFootball app. Make sure you download the OneFootball app, link in the description, for all of your footballing latest, your news, your updates, your scores, your stats, player stats, team stats, whatever you want. Plus, OneFootball, for those of you in the UK and Ireland, are bringing Italian Serie A to the OneFootball app. You can watch one Italian Serie A game per match day, and on top of that, you can catch up on all the Italian Serie A highlights on the OneFootball app. Hit the link in the description, download it now, make it your go-to, just like I have, and enjoy. Let's get cracking. Let's start off with North London. Yesterday, I did a video, which was meant to be one of two, but I done a video talking about Erling Haaland, and about how, is he going to smash records? Is he going to break it open? Is he going to score 60 this season? Or is he going to flop? We will be going into that in the second part of this, but let's start off with Arsenal Spurs. Arsenal... Hey, I have to say, yeah, Arsenal Spurs, all the Arsenal fans and Spurs fans watching, take this in. Take this in. What I am about to say, take it in, because it's a rarity. It doesn't happen very often, but you're going to listen to these words and it's going to feel like music to your ears. But I'm going to say it, and as I've said, take it in, embrace it, because it might not happen again. First place Arsenal are playing against third place Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal, that are sitting top of the table, are facing Tottenham, who are third in the league. I've never been able to say that in a very long time, at least for Tottenham being in the top four, let alone. But Arsenal being top of the league is outrageous, not seeing it since 2003. So, you know, nearly 20 years later, maybe we're about to see it now. Arsenal, Tottenham is going to be a big one. Big game. Why? Because I say this is quite unpredictable. Normally, I'd look at this fixture and I would think Arsenal going to lose. Why? Because Arsenal, under Arteta, how they were for quite a few seasons now, not just last season, but the season before, they've not looked consistent whatsoever. You know that the dip is going to come eventually. It's typical Arsenal. Then you look at Tottenham under Antonio Conte, fresh on the block in terms of his time at Tottenham, has come in, has done quite a good job. We know what Conte does. He stabilizes a team in the short term at least, but he brings that defensive structure. He brings some solidity. He's able to start getting the team playing with some pretty lethal counterattacks. He's got players that he wanted in the transfer window. You'd look at that and you think, along Harry Kane and Son, surely Tottenham are gonna do Arsenal here, surely. But this time, nah. Arsenal are looking really good, and the injury news for them is actually quite good too. It seems like Zinchenko could be available. It seems like Tierney could be available. They've already got players like Saliba available and whatnot. The only one that's actually missing seems to be Smith Rowe, that's who's gone through surgery. So you know what? Arsenal are going to have a decent team on the pitch, and their talisman right now, Gabriel Jesus, who has found his home at Arsenal. He looks liberated. We knew at Manchester City he was decent, but at Arsenal he looks free. He looks free. It's like, yeah, give me the ball. I got this, guys. I got this. Everyone chill. I've got this. And he goes and he does his thing. And Arsenal have needed someone like that for quite some time. But not just that. I have to say, I had doubts in Arteta for quite some time, and I know a load of you did. They're playing good football. They're actually playing good football, and that has to be a testament to the manager. It has to be. The players too, but the buzz is high. The body language is looking good. The happiness is there. Everyone's together. They look like they're playing for each other. And the way that they're playing, you can see there is some sort of structure, which is what I thought Arteta would not be able to bring. You see the way that they're able to move the ball out of the back, but not in the same way a Liverpool would or even a Chelsea attempt to do sometimes. But you see that Arsenal are so direct. They're able to use their wingers. They're able to use their midfielders. They're able to get the ball from A to B in a very quick time. Which is what I'd like Chelsea to do, to be honest. If we can start doing that, that would be great. Arsenal seem to be able to have that. And then they get the ball to their forward men. You see a Saka, for example. You see all sorts. They're overlapping fullbacks. Wingers cutting in. They've got a good structure. And it seems like everyone's on the same page. And when I see that, I think, can Arsenal keep this up? I have to start asking. Because normally I'd look at Arsenal and I'd go, no, they're not going to keep it up. But this time, I have to be honest. I think if they get a result against Tottenham, they're going to have a very good season. Because after the international break, you can lose momentum. It's about getting that momentum back. And this is where Arsenal are going to get tested. Because in previous years, Arsenal have always flopped. They've always found some point in the season where they just dip to the depths of hell. And now, with an international break, with the team being away, are they able to regroup and start again and keep that level? Because sometimes form can take you far. But form can only take you so far. It depends on the team and how good they actually are. Because if they're able to recoup the form that they were in prior to the international break, then boy, we have to take them seriously in the title race. And I can't believe I'm saying these words because it's Arsenal. But let's wait and see. Tottenham, on the other hand, there's always that point where you think it's Tottenham. It's Tottenham, isn't it? Tottenham. They're going to bottle it, aren't they? Because it's Tottenham. Under Antonio Conte, he's got some sort of solidity there. And the two styles counteract each other. Arsenal, we know, are going to dominate the ball. Arsenal are going to dominate the game. Conte is going to set them up defensively, trying to get them on a counter-attack. But Arsenal have improved defensively. However, Tottenham's attack is quite lethal. So, normally, at face value, you'd look at this and you think, a draw, right? I'm going to put something out there. I actually see Arsenal getting 3 points. And I didn't think I'd say that. As I've said normally before, I would probably look at this and go, Tottenham are winning. I reckon Arsenal narrow win. I'm going Arsenal 2, Tottenham 1. Especially, it's happening at the Emirates. It's a Saturday lunchtime kickoff. I think Arsenal probably with the early goal, and then Tottenham will be forced to come out. At that point, I think Arsenal will have control of the game. We'll wait and see, though. We'll wait and see, because Conte likes to set his teams back so defensive. Stay 0-0 for quite some time, get the confidence and start launching the counter-attacks. Get your opponent frustrated, get them not knowing how to, link up with the ball. And all of a sudden start launching a counter-attack or two, get a goal or two and boom, shut the game down. That's what Conte does. I think Arsenal are going to have quite a bit up top for them to get that first goal. But can they keep up the form? It's going to be a test. And if Arsenal do lose tomorrow, we might see the turning point. We'll wait and see what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below. How do you see this game ending between Arsenal and Spurs in the North London derby? We move to the other derby now. Manchester City, Manchester United, Sunday afternoon kickoff. And this is going to be one hell of a game. Apologies. This is going to be one hell of a game. Why? As I already mentioned yesterday, all eyes on Erling Haaland. But Manchester United have improved too. Just like we've been speaking about Arsenal, Man United under Ten Hag started off terrible. Started off horrendously, but they've managed to pick up some sort of a bond, some sort of a stability, let's say. And with a couple of changes that Erik Ten Hag has made prior to the international break, United actually started to look somewhat decent. They started to find their rhythm. They picked up a little bit of form, and all of a sudden, it looks like they've got something going. But in the same way I mentioned about Arsenal, post-international break, can they regroup and continue that? Or is it going to be too much? Now, the things that they have in their favour, Rashford seems to be returning. Martial apparently trained really, really well. I think that front three of what I predict is going to be possibly Rashford, Martial, Sancho, I'm guessing. With the midfield in behind, we know it's not going to be McFred. That's one of the points that I wanted to mention, that Erik Ten Hag's managed to change and get United for the better, is that midfield. And on top of that, defensively, Harry Maguire seems to have picked up a hamstring whilst he was away on England international duty. So that's always a plus when he's not playing, as far as I'm concerned, even though Erik Ten Hag in the press conference did say that he's obviously going to back his player, and he's not backing him just for backing him. He's backing him because he believes in him. Erik Ten Hag, I know you've got cameras in front of you. We know what you really think, mate. I understand you have to say that to the public. Cool, but Yeah, it's cool. No problem. Of course, no one believes in Harry Maguire. I mean, it is what it is. Let's just be truthful here. Man United are better without him. England are better without him. And that's just how it is. Harry Maguire, I don't know what sort of defender he's turned into, but I think him not playing tomorrow is going to be better for Manchester United defensively. And this is why I'm looking at this game and I'm going, you know what? Manchester City are big favourites here. Erling Haaland has been killing it. Do I think he's going to score? Yes. Do I think Man City are going to batter Man United? No. This is a big derby. And historically, Manchester City, even though they tend to try to control the ball, more times than not they do, but when they get into a roadblock, once they start hitting a roadblock and they run out of ideas, the frustration goes from 0 to 100. And United, I feel like, can capitalise on that as long as they're solid defensively. If Man United are solid defensively and they're able to frustrate Man City, I think there is a good chance Man United can pick up a surprise narrow win. If not, I think possibly a draw. If I'm going with my gut instinct, look, Man City, as I've said, are favourites. You look at them and you think, yeah, they're going to win, surely. I feel like there'll be a slight surprise. Not a big surprise, but a slight surprise. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw. We'll wait and see what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below. Manchester City, as I've said, I think they're really strong. They've got everything going for them. But they've not been as lethal or as dynamic as Man City can be. Is that going to kick on now the international break is over? Potentially. We have to remember though, a lot of these players have their eyes on the World Cup. I think from now up until the World Cup, you're going to see fairly boring football. I think there's going to be players that are going to go at 80%, not at 100, because they've got the World Cup in their heads, and that's normal. That's normal. So from now, I think you're going to see a lot of caution, especially from the big teams, where there's loads of internationals, and not the best looking football. But Manchester City, I think, should be able to win this game. Do I think they're going to? No. Even though Haaland, I reckon, scores, I still think Manchester United will look better and will get a draw. Let me know your thoughts down below. How do you see it going? Much appreciated. Crystal Palace, Chelsea, I will be giving you my preview after this, so that's going to be a match preview for that game. Make sure you tune in for that one. Fulham versus Newcastle. Fulham are doing really, really well. Fulham are 6th, and Mitrovic is absolutely killing it. Even on international duty, he's been killing it there as well. That's really, really, really good for Fulham. And Mitrovic, who I once thought was not good for the Premier League, was a championship striker, has come in and absolutely started the season with wonders. Newcastle in 10th position. Early in the season, I think Newcastle will improve. This will be an interesting game. Can Mitrovic pick up his form? Keep his form up, should I say? Can Newcastle start really gathering some results? We'll wait and see. How do I see this going? I reckon a draw. I'm going 1-1 Fulham Newcastle. Liverpool versus Brighton. Liverpool have been all over the place. All over the place, and they're currently sitting 8th below Chelsea somehow, but Liverpool look like they're lost. Salah, what's wrong with him? I've said this before, I think there's a big Mane-shaped hole in this Liverpool team, and they've still not been able to truly replace him. I feel like a lot of people undermine the work that Mane actually done in this Liverpool team, and think it was all Salah. It really was not. Mane was so underrated at Liverpool, it was ridiculous. Now that he's gone, people are starting to realise that. Salah, can he start shining again? I think he will eventually. Will it start now against Brighton? Potentially, because Brighton have lost their manager. They've lost a couple of players. I mean, Chelsea have basically stolen everything from them. We apologise. But Liverpool, even though they're struggling, I see them winning. I'm going with a Liverpool 2, Brighton 0. That's my prediction. Southampton versus Everton. This is an interesting one for Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard's Everton currently sitting in 13th. Southampton in 14th. Mid-table clash. This will be, I think, a fair contest. I don't really see anything exciting happening here. But I am, based on morale, I'm going to go with Everton. Everton 1-0. Frank Lampard's team to get the 1-0 win against Southampton, even though they are playing away. We'll see what happens. And West Ham versus Wolves. West Ham are in the mud, but so are Wolves. This is the thing. This is 17th versus 18th. West Ham, though, are the ones that everyone are looking at and going, what's going on? Because West Ham were playing European competition. West Ham were fighting at the top end of the table. They've started the season very, very badly. Moyes is already under pressure. Can he save his job? That is where everyone's looking now. The pressure is starting to build. Can West Ham get a result? Wolves are Wolves at the end of the day. Do I see much happening there? No. Portugal B, should I rename them? However, with Wolves, they've made one additional signing that everyone, including me as a Chelsea supporter, are looking at and going, I hope you smash it, and that's Diego Costa. Diego Costa is back. And I have to say, normally I'd go with West Ham. But Wolves, with Diego Costa against a struggling West Ham, even though it's happening at the London Stadium, I'm going with a West Ham 0, Wolves 1, Diego Costa goal. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. But let me know your predictions down below. How do you see it all playing out? Much appreciated. I will be giving you my Chelsea Crystal Palace preview after this. So keep your eyes peeled. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. I'll see you later, people. In a bit, people. Take care and peace.